Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first balloon thing that I've made. And it was 10 times harder than I thought it was going to be. I also am going to have to get rid of nails because nails don't work for blowing shit up and tying it off. Oh, I think I've severely underestimated this. Severely. Let's talk about this business. Oh, where do I start? So I guess I could start with where I got my inspiration from and how I got the idea to even start the business. So the idea kind of came to me because it was my cousin's birthday. I had this vision in my mind. I wanted to get her this big confetti balloon, and I went to a local retailer in Ballarat and I sort of had to help them figure out exactly what I wanted and how to do it and how I wanted it to look. And as I was walking out of the shop, I'm carrying around this like massive balloon. Like they were huge, they were like 90 centimeters. Actually, I think this one was a little bit less, maybe like 75, 80 centimeters. And as I'm walking out of the shop, people are like stopping and pointing and going like, whoa, like that's so cool, like asking all these questions about the balloon. So as I'm walking out of the shop, I can feel it in my head. I get this like, I can't describe it, and I hope other entrepreneurs have this, but like I get this weird feeling where I'm like, oh God, it's happening. Like here we go, the planning's starting. Like my brain starts like churning over numbers and like things are happening, and I'm like, business idea. And that was it. That was literally how I got the idea for the business. I was like, wait, if I could grab everyone's in this shop's attention on social media and say, hey, we're selling this, do you want to buy it? From their response that I'd already seen in the shop, I was like, they would buy it. So that's where I realized, one, there was a gap in the market, which I severely underestimated, and two, there was an interest in it. So once I sort of had this idea, the wheels started going, things started churning. I literally was like, I started a spreadsheet at work and where I'm looking at the cost of materials to what we could sell stuff. I then started researching things from Melbourne, like in a big town in Melbourne, like what do they do down there? And I'd seen like a lot of social media influencers or big names like football wags where they have like baby showers. They do these like massive balloon garlands. And I was like, wait, there's no one in Ballarat doing that. And I thought, we fill another gap, we do that. And that was literally how it was. So I saw a gap and I filled it. And yeah, that's basically how it started, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. The balloon business has grown so much that I would never have ever perceived, one, that I would be in an office, that I have my own office space, two, that I needed a van for the business, and three, like the amount of stuff, like literally I thought when I first had the initial business, I thought we'll just do helium bunches. Some cute little helium bunches that we'll organize on a Saturday, people will come and pick up on a Saturday morning, and then that'll be it. Wow, was I wrong. Something that I want to mention is that I'm someone who kind of jumps into businesses without giving them much thought, and the balloon business was like the perfect example of that. I hadn't blown up a balloon in years. So when I kind of started this business, I sort of was like, yeah, we're gonna do like big garlands and we're gonna do all this sort of stuff. And I was like, wait, how do we make them? So I practiced. Here are some photos of my first balloon garlands. God, they were so bad. They're so much better now. But I think that's the thing with business, is you just have to give it a go, and trust me, you'll learn. You will learn very quickly what works and what doesn't, and go from there. We have grown significantly over the last 2.5 years and continue to grow, and I've already got plans for the future for the business, which I will get to a little bit later. We've had a lot of people copy the business idea, which I will touch on a little bit later too. But yeah, I'm gonna run you through sort of how it all played out. So once I had the idea, I sort of do an analysis myself. With every business that I've started, I don't really have a specific plan in place, but I kind of just do my own sort of analysis, being like, all right, what do I need? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? Like, I don't know, it was just kind of, to be honest, it was a bit of a mess, and I just sort of like ran with it. I knew that I was gonna have to like pick a name, register the business, get insurance, and then do social media. So that's what I did. I registered the business name, and the business name, to be honest, all of my businesses, I've never really given much thought to the name. Like, I really like that balloon and Ballarat both started with a B, so I thought if I could add in another B word, and I can't remember how I found bespoke. I'm pretty sure I googled descriptive words and I found one starting with a B, and bespoke was perfect because bespoke basically means custom, and what I was creating was custom balloons. So Bespoke Balloons Ballarat was born, I registered the name and basically went from there. I also got an Instagram page and the Facebook page. I think that's really important to be able to get both of them because Facebook is like a global platform. So I wanted to make sure that they were both in sync. And I literally uploaded one photo that had like a little balloon saying coming soon. Now, this is when the weirdest thing happened. I remember I was sitting at my desk and I got a DM on Instagram to the balloon page, and I was like, that's weird. Like, there's one little photo, there's not much information about the business. I don't have any photos of our work yet. Like, what? So, and it was from this event styling business, and they were from Melbourne and they were coming to Daylesford to do a styling shoot for like a wedding vibe type thing. Now, long story short, they basically want to do a collaboration, and collaboration, my thoughts on collaborations have kind of changed over the years. So the collaboration that they wanted was they wanted to have different businesses coming together to do a photo shoot, which would then feature in like some big wedding magazine, and also like shout out your business names type of thing. And I thought this is a great opportunity, but I'm like, wait, I've actually never made anything for balloons other than like helium. Like, they wanted these big garlands. Like at the start when they reached out to me, I thought this is a great way that we could launch our business. Be like, hey, look, we've started the business, we've already done a collaborative shoot, look at what we do. I thought this would be really great for our social media. But then things started to unfold and I was like, this isn't feeling so great. So for me, when I start a business, I think of worst case scenario of like how things can play out and like how I can minimize the risk of those things playing out. For example, on an install, making sure that we've got enough equipment, making sure that we've got the right tools that we need to actually complete the install. So the venue that they had at this place was phenomenal. It was like this beautiful little chapel that was all white inside and big windows, and what the company had wanted is they wanted this big like garland flowing down over the window, and I was like, how are we going to be able to stick it there? We didn't have poles big enough and it was kind of on an angle type of thing. And I mentioned that to the styling company. I was like, look, are we allowed to use nails or adhesives on the wall? And they're like, yeah, sure, go for it. They've said we're allowed to do everything. And something inside me just was like, that doesn't feel right. And this is why you should always trust your gut. They actually gave me the event coordinator's number for the venue, and I gave her a call and was like, hi, it's Celia from Bespoke Balloons Ballarat, which felt so weird because we hadn't even launched yet. And I was like, look, the styling company has said we can use adhesives and nails on the wall. I just wanted to call to confirm that we can do that, just to, you know, make sure it's a really smooth process on the day. And I remember it so, like, I remember the call so clearly. She was so lovely, like so nice and so appreciative that I called. She was like, Celia, not one nail or one adhesive, anything can go on that wall. That wall is in pristine condition and it has to be left that way. And I was like, fuck. That was literally a turning point for me. I was like, had I not have called, we would have gone to that venue. If they hadn't have been there on site, I was just like, no, like, this is so unprofessional. The fact that the styling company had blatantly said yes in an email, I had it all in an email trail. Long story short, I pulled out of the collaboration. I was like, look, we're just not ready yet and it just doesn't feel right. Anyway, so after this, I kind of realized the full extent of the gap that I was feeling. After that, I'd started ordering products. I actually got a couple of structures made. I got our heart structure made, which we have used so many times. It's so perfect for engagement parties in weddings. And I decided I needed to do like a photo shoot. I wanted to showcase what we did, who we were, what we were capable of, and yeah, just some content for our social media. Also during this like planning phase, I was figuring out pricing. So I think this is something that people can get really stuck on, is like, what do I charge for my services? For me, I was like, well, it needs to be profitable, and to make it profitable, I need to make sure I'm covering my expenses, plus adding in the time it usually takes me to make it, and yeah, factoring that in. The main reason why our prices are what they are is because we use quality balloons. We're not using shitty $2 balloons from Kmart. Like, we're buying Qualitex, which are 100% biodegradable balloons. When it comes to suppliers, I reached out to a lot of different suppliers and eventually found one who I trust. When I was telling people about the idea, I don't know, this is something funny about starting a business, is I, to be honest, don't really value anyone else's opinion. And I think that's, to be honest, a strength. if I listened to everyone's opinion and took on board their negative opinions towards my business, I wouldn't have any. And I literally remember from this balloon business, I remember I had a lash client in who I know quite well, and she was asking like, what are you up to? What are you working on? And because she knows that's what I'm like. And I said, oh, I'm actually thinking of starting a balloon decorating business. So this was very much in the early days. And she literally scoffed. She was like, balloons? Why would you want to work with balloons? And I was like, that was all I needed to hear. Like, I just needed, like, I remember her saying that and me smiling. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, that's fucking weird, Celia. And because to me, what it means is that like, well, perfect. Now I've got someone to prove wrong. Now I can be like, and I tell that story to so many people, that one lady scoffing, I've told to so many people, and I'm like, back yourself. If you think it'll work, it could work. If it doesn't work, who fucking cares? Like, no one. You should never not do something because you're scared of other people's opinion. One of my biggest goals with the balloon business was that I wanted it to be self-sufficient. And what I mean by that is that I wanted to be able to go away on weekends. I wanted to be able to go away on holidays, or if my full-time job got crazy busy, because I was working full-time during this, I would be able to continue doing that and the business would still run. So that was one of my major goals with the balloon business, was to hire staff. And within 6 months, I had 2 staff working for me, and it just made so much sense because it allowed me to leverage my time and give them tasks to do that made the business grow. And having people that also, they understand my vision and my drive and also my work ethic. So finding people that are on par with that has just been so good for the business, and I'm honestly forever grateful for my staff. From what I thought was just going to be, you know, a couple of hours on a Saturday morning doing some balloons turned into very quickly 8 to 10 hour days on Saturdays and Sundays. Like, it was insane. Now, when I first started this business, I had it set up in my house. So I had a spare room in my house and I fully decked it out with all of our balloon materials that we needed. Something else that came as a very big shock to me was needing a van. I had never, in my wildest dreams when I was planning for this business, even considered needing a van. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna be doing helium. Like, people can just chuck it in their cars, or like I can chuck it in mine and go and deliver it. Very, very quickly we realized that we needed a van. So I bought one. And if you've seen my previous videos on getting rid of debt and how to budget, I am so bloody grateful that I did that, and like that I had money sitting there, because I literally had to fork out $15,000 for a van. And had I not have had that, I probably would have gone into debt for it, and I just didn't want debt. So as the business started to grow, working from home just became more challenging. Like, obviously one of my goals was to have staff and make it self-sufficient, which I did. But say if I wanted a weekend off working, the girls still had to come to my house to actually make up the balloons and get them ready. So I never really had that like downtime or felt that I could escape unless I was leaving home, and then they obviously had to come in and out of my house, which was my home. So with that, plus the fact that we were growing rapidly, like, I'll insert some videos now, my house used to turn into a bomb site. Like, it started to become a common occurrence where my house was just covered in balloons. Like, I'll insert some videos now and you'll be able to see like just balloons everywhere, every weekend. And I was kind of like, I feel like we're growing out of our space. Like, we literally had no additional room. Like, the house was a bomb site, stuff was everywhere. It just made it really difficult to work. So I started looking for commercial real estate, and my God, it is so expensive. And I was like, in no rush, I didn't pressure myself. I was like, something will just fall into place. And it did. I have found the perfect office for the business. It's really reasonably priced. It has low ceilings, which is perfect for the balloon business because helium. And it's big enough that I can turn it into more of an office for me too. So it's really comfortable up here now. I spend a lot of time up here working on all of my different businesses, my YouTube, editing, everything. So yeah, don't rush things. That's one of my tips. So over the 2.5 years where we've been trading, we have done some crazy events. We've done 30th, 21st, weddings, engagement parties, surprise birthdays, first birthdays, birthdays of any age, footy and netball functions, footy and netball balls, local events, fundraisers, grand openings, and gender reveals, just to name a few. And some of the highlights that I have of this business have definitely been my sister's gender reveal. Ready? yeah, I love being able to create those memorable moments for people. Another issue that I never thought I would have is materials not being able to fit in the van. I was like, that's never gonna happen. We're never gonna have issues with that. The van's massive. Wrong. I had to do a job in Werribee, which was a balloon wall and heaps of helium bunches and letters, all that sort of stuff. So we hired a truck. I literally hired a truck. I think we've hired a truck 3 times. One for that Werribee job, one for a Ballarat job, which was a Thursday where we did four massive walls. We did all of these table runners. We did multiple garlands for entrances. Like, that was by far the biggest job we've ever done, but that was a massive highlight. Now, something that I did mention that I was going to touch on was copycat businesses. Now, how do we describe them? I learned a very long time ago when I started my lash businesses that people see your businesses and then they want to throw their own spin on it and start. And although it's disheartening, especially when you see your designs and things you've created, people copy, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I'm not gonna waste my time focusing on anyone else's business. My business is my priority, and the way that I run my business, every little step of my business is a reflection of me, and those people that are copying our ideas or that are starting other businesses similar to ours will never be me and will never be my business. So I'm focusing on mine, and I feel like I'm always a step ahead of what they're doing anyway. So if you came here for drama, you're not gonna get it. I wish them well and hope they do well in business, but I don't really care because I'm too busy focusing on mine. That is the end of that. When I finished up at my full-time job end of last year, I was kind of like, how can I grow the balloon business to sort of be even bigger than what it is now? And we've always thought about doing online garlands, so like do-it-yourself DIY balloon garlands. So in Jan, basically I did that. I built us a website and I figured out the garlands we were gonna sell, and I was doing ads, and it was actually converting really well. We were selling garlands all across Australia. I'm not talking huge numbers. And then I went to Bali. So this kind of ties in with how COVID is kind of playing out. So that happened in Jan. We launched the website in Jan, sold a few. I was going to Bali in Feb. We sort of shut the website down because I was like, I'm not ready for sales to still come through, and I didn't want to have to manage the customer service side of things whilst in Bali. So I was like, close the website. And then we came home from Bali and it was March 4th. And I think a week later or 2 weeks later, Victoria went into lockdown. The really disappointing thing was that we had probably our biggest quarter on record. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on how COVID and the last 4 months has sort of played out for me. Now, I wasn't sure if I covered everything in what I'd already filmed. So I just rang my sister and I rang one of my really good friends, Casey, who also does YouTube. And I asked them, like, what do you think people would want to know about the balloon business? Because I want you guys to like take something away from this. And something that they both said, how do you get to a point where you just don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks? And I think that's really powerful, because I learned a long time ago, basically when I started the lash business, that I feel like throughout any entrepreneurial journey, you learn things, and you learn things along the way. And something that I've definitely learned along the way is to just not care about anyone else's opinions. Let them share their opinions because they're allowed to, but you choose what you want to take in. Like what I'm currently working on, and by the time you're watching this video, that means that it's live, is our website. So I mentioned earlier in the video we had the DIY garlands. I've now refreshed all of that. They're ready, up to go, and we're going to start doing some social media advertising around that, because we're finding that people are still celebrating birthdays. Like birthdays happen whether there's a pandemic or not. So people want to make their loved ones' birthdays special. So we have now launched the website for home deliveries in my hometown of Ballarat. We have updated the website for DIY balloon garland birthday packs as well for Australia-wide postage, and it's sort of something we're moving towards. So more of that online stuff, just to streamline processes. I think Corona would have taught any business owner that you need to be able to adapt, and I definitely needed those 6 weeks of no business. Like, I'm so glad that we shut the website down. We weren't taking any new orders for a solid 6 weeks. Same with the lash business, that all fully closed. And within that 6 weeks, I learned so much about myself. I learned what I really want my life to look like. And what it previously was to that was being flat out with work. And yeah, and whereas now I'm kind of like, you know what, I love my downtime, and like I thrive in my downtime. Something that I'm definitely working on for the rest of this year is figuring out some online passive incomes and opening up my income streams, because I want money to come in around the clock regardless of if you are watching this now, our website has been relaunched. If you're in Ballarat, please go and order some balloons for a loved one, surprise them at their workplace. You can go and see it here. I'll put the link in the description, but bespokeballoonsballarat.com.au is our website. I hope you have learned a little bit about my balloon business. I obviously haven't gone into a lot of detail because I'm not going to show you how we make stuff. I'm not going to do any of that because it has taken me so long to get to where we are, and a lot of very testing times. Something that I am going to come out with is a balloon decorating course. I've had a lot of interest since basically starting YouTube in the last week. I've had some posts online go really, really well, and when I've shared my story online in a few entrepreneurial groups, I've had a lot of people reach out being like, hey, can I have some information on the balloon business? I'd love to pick your brain. And I'm kind of like, I wish I had me when I was starting the balloon business. Like, I wish I had someone that could give me the ins and outs, or like the tips and tricks of like the best way to like make the balloon business work. So I'm going to come out with a course on that. If you're interested in that, regardless of where you are in the world, just don't be from my hometown, send me a message on Instagram and I will add you to like the wait list. There's already a few people on that for the course, which is really exciting. I hope this just inspires you to go and do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever business idea you've got in your head. If you can dream it, you can do it. And you don't have to be an expert in a field. You don't have to have a business degree. I certainly don't. I think if you're starting a business, you just need to have an attitude that you're willing to give it a go and that you'll learn from mistakes, and yeah, have a crack. Don't be scared. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below. My next video is going to be on my income stream, so if that interests you, subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.